Okay, hello everybody. This is going to be my Megaminx beginner's method tutorial. This first video is just going to be a basic overview of Megaminx. It's transition from 3x3 and yeah, just splitting it into like little subsections that we're going to go over together. So first, before we go any further, I just want to explain notation real quickly. You don't need to learn any new notation for the beginner's method that you haven't already learned on like 3x3, 4x4, or any n by n puzzle. So this is going to be R, R prime, L, L prime, U, U prime, F, F prime, and then D, D prime. And we probably don't need to worry too much about B, but you can still know that if you want to. Now, if you got into if you're going to turn layers like this, rather than assign a new notation, it's probably easier for beginners just to change reorient the Megaminx to make this layer like a U, or if you need to turn this layer, just assume this is R instead. You don't need to learn any new notation, and I think watching the videos, it'll make enough sense to where new notation won't be necessary. You don't need to learn complicated algorithms, so that's the reason why. No new notation. The only thing that would be new and different from 3x3 is R2s and L2s and U2s, stuff like that, double flicks. So this is an R2, but there's also R2 prime because there's 5 sides. So R2 prime would just basically be this counterclockwise 2 times. And there's no such thing as R3 because R3 is the same thing as R2 prime. Alright, getting that out of the way, the Megaminx I like to split it up into basically 3 big parts, and most Megaminx literature will involve that in some capacity. This first layer you have right here, so this is your bottom layer, and this little subsection, like this edge, center edge, even though it's a little zigzaggy, it's still one layer if you can tell. So this is going to be what we call F2L. It's very similar to 3x3, except there's just one extra side. It's not a square, it's a pentagon. So this is fairly normal. And then the next subsection is with your F2L face on the bottom. You're going to imagine this gigantic part. You can kind of see how it's like a trapezoid or a pentagon. It's another pentagon, where you have this corner complex and these 2 edges right here, and that's going to be one section. And then if you go all the way across the cube, you can kind of see my hands tracing it. It's all one giant section. It's a little more complicated than F2L or standard 3x3 F2L, but when we go over it together, you'll see it's not too hard and it's fairly simple, and the techniques you use are really similar. Yeah, when you go around the puzzle, if you can just try to imagine that as one gigantic subsection, that'd be good. And then finally, last layer, I won't go into that too much. You just have to learn maybe 2 or 3 algorithms, and the other algorithms that you need to know, you probably already know if you have the beginner's method of 3x3. So for the end of this video, just going to explain really quickly how I'm going to divide the rest of the videos up. The first video I'm going to do is I'm basically going to do a tutorial on the star, which is your first layer star, just like a 3x3 cross. I'm going to explain F2L, this edge, this corner, the rest of that to where everything down here is complete. And then I'm going to explain S2L in a separate video. It's going to be this. And then I might take 2 videos to teach last layer. I'm not too sure yet. It's not because it's really difficult. It's mainly just because how I decide on how I'm going to teach the algorithms and what's the best way to integrate them into your solves. And then probably I'll do one more video after that. It's more so just walkthrough solves, just to show you guys what's really happening, how I do things using the beginner's method. Okay, that being said, yeah, first video is done.